Hey guys, I'm back again. It's the same day. This thing's now up in the air. I've been looking at tail shaft issues because if you jump down here, at the moment I've got it all unbolted, but I'll quickly jump under and show you. But usually gearbox end this side sits about here because my tail shaft's actually too short, and I'm pretty sure it's from a sedan. And to give you an example, I just have the center bearing bolted in place, kind of dodgy at the moment, but I have like a 50mm gap at the end of my tail shaft. That's a little sneak peek at my fuel pump and braided line and whatnot under the car as well. So yeah, I gotta sort out whether I look at getting a wagon tail shaft, as I believe it's longer, and changing yokes if it's for a K70, or if it is AE71. I'll go about that however I go about that, or I look at getting this one lengthened and then balanced. But I'll see what I decide to do. But that's just a quick little update for you for your Tuesday. So yeah, that is her up in the air and the start of one problem being solved. So yeah, cheers, till next time. Hey, how you guys going? Today I'm gonna do it a little bit more mucking around on that thing. I'm gonna pull my starter motor out, so then I can go get a spacer made up and I can size bolts up, and I'll get nuts and spring washers so that I've got a bit more clamping force on it. I also spoke yesterday, I'll include that, but about my tail shaft, because it's like 35mm too short, and I'm pretty sure it's from a sedan, so that's the difference there. But I'm not 100% sure what to do, whether I get a spacer made up for the diff end or whether I just get the front end extended. But I'll talk about that later. The joys of project cars, where you build something and then you have all these little problems that you just want sorted. But like, for example, today we're pulling that thing out. So yeah, I'll get cracking on that, and yeah, I'll do that and let you guys know when I've got it out, and then explain the difference between an auto starter motor for one of these and a manual one, and go from there. Okay, so I just pulled my starter motor out. So it's now out. Another thing I was thinking I should probably do while I have it out is fix up my trigger wire, because it's pretty bloody heavy going. So I'm wondering whether I do that. But that's my starter motor, which has this bloody 10mm or so different spacing to what a manual one does. I'll throw pictures in from when I had both of them next to each other. Then the other difference is the terminals are on the outside, so closer to the headers, because it sits in the car that way, mounted to the flywheel there. As you can see, my headers were originally rubbing on it, but then I modified them to fit a bit better. But that's an auto starter motor for one, which is brand new. So if you do want to run an auto starter motor, I don't really know why you would. I'm just running one because I don't have a manual one, because I got a bare motor and didn't have a starter motor, so I needed one and I brought one. The only other thing I was thinking, what I was using to space it, which was like 16mm, is actually probably spaced a little too far, because I've got about 5mm of tooth contact from the starter motor to the flywheel, and I can go about 10mm on the flywheel. So the spacer that I get made up, I'll probably make it skinnier so that it's got a bit more tooth contact, and she should be sweet. But yeah, that is my starter motor out, and I measured up bolts, so I go buy some bolts. I'm not going to bother about nuts and lock washers like I said before, because the backside of the starter motor isn't actually flat big enough anyway and not really enough room to run nuts, so I'm not going to bother with that. So I'm just going to leave it as is, and yeah, get some shorter bolts so that I don't have to run bloody ugly nuts on both sides. Just make everything tidier. That's just all the project is basically trying to, you can throw it all together, but all the time is consumed in then sorting out little bits and pieces. Like wiring's one big thing, making wiring neat. Like this is probably the second time as it is now as how my loom has sat, because the first time I threw it all in together with everything in, worked out what plugs I didn't need, and then deleted them completely and threw it all back together. Still ran and everything. I got an auto lecky to do this, which is for the alternator, so that my charge light would actually come on and it would actually charge. So there's been little bits and pieces that I haven't really been able to problem solve, so I've just asked others or gone to people that know what they're doing and asked them and gotten them to do it for me. But other than that, most of it I've all been doing myself, which I've actually really enjoyed. But depends how much you want to bite off and chew, and how much you want to spend as to how you go about doing it all. But all in all, I've really enjoyed doing all this myself and just plodding along at my own pace. Yeah, the motor's my problem because I built it, put rings in wrong, so that's my mistake. We'll learn from them, so hopefully this time when I pull it out, I don't have to pull it out ever again, supposedly, unless I plan on going another route. But while it's coming out, I can sort out my Welsh plugs, which originally were weeping too, sort out my cooling system a little bit better, just tidy bits and pieces up, make things a bit more permanent, make my airbox a bit better, sort out my intake shit. Yeah, I've got clutch stuff to sort out too, which I might go and order parts for today, because my slave cylinder down there, because I never had any of this, because this car originally came with a 4K in it, even though it is an AE71. There's a story behind that too, but I got a slave cylinder and master cylinder and everything, braided clutch line made up for it instead of running a hard line, and put my slave cylinder in originally, bled it, and was wondering why there was brake fluid pissing out of it, because I didn't have the little spacer, like rubber spacer thing that they come with, which I was like, oh okay, so then I just threw some random cut down bolt I had in and it works, but it's not right. So I want to go sort out getting that little spacer, and throw out bearing, and not throw out bearing, clutch fork boot, because I don't have one of them either. So I'll sort out getting that and the little rubber clutch push rod thing, and that's about it. So do all that stuff and see how I go with getting that done. I don't know if it'll be done today, I'll just see. Other than that, I'm enjoying working on it, just taking my time day by day and doing whatever I feel like I want to do. But yeah, hopefully you guys are enjoying it. It's not really too much at the moment because I'm just trying to sort out little bits and pieces, and I'm not working, so it's kind of like funds, but I'll get there. But hopefully you guys are enjoying it, and I'll keep you updated. Cheers. So I'm back. I just went and got some bolts for my starter motor that aren't head bolts from my 4Age. I've just tapped the threads again in this because originally when I first put it in, I used 4K big end bolts that just threaded in with how far out it's spaced, and then ended up going to the servo from a mate's one time, and my starter motor ended up sitting on my cross member, not even in the bell housing. So yeah, then sorted that out and then used these to get it to have more thread, but then I had to space the other end, so then used some random nuts I had floating around. At the moment I've worked out I'm only using like 5mm of the, I suppose you'd call it like a ring gear on the starter motor. So I'm only using 5mm of that, and the flywheel is 10mm, so a centimeter thick. So the spacing I had it spaced at, which is about 16mm, is too far, so I'm gonna try and see if I can space it about 12 and see how much contact I've got then, and if it's not fouling or anything, then I'll probably get a 12mm spacer made up for it, and then get that made for this, and that is starter motor done. I'll probably get a spacer made up Monday at a mate's workshop, but anyway, I'll keep you guys updated and I'll keep working through doing this. But I just thought I'd give you a quick little update on that with tapping threads and doing that. So yeah. How you going, guys? This might be a really disjointed video because I just dropped my starter motor off yesterday, which is Monday, at my mate Matt, to then machine up a spacer for it, and that's probably going to take a little longer than expected. So the Corolla is going to be sitting where it is now for a week or two, I don't know. So in that case it's time to kind of move on to doing other things. But today in the mail this came, which is an inspection camera which I brought the other week. I brought that to pull spark plugs out and look at my bores and see if there is scoring. If there is, then when I strip it all down, it's off to the machine shop again and sort out what size it can get machined to. If there isn't scoring, then same size rings or slightly bigger in, and I'm sweet to go again. But I gotta see when I strip it down. Other than that, just a quick little update, because I'll probably try and edit this today or tomorrow. But tail shaft, I'm probably going to get the front half extended because the back half is all sweet. The front needs to be lengthened by 35mm, well, the whole shaft, in saying that. So I'll probably just get that piece cut out, a new piece put in eventually, and get it all balanced. Other than that, starter motor, like I said, that's getting a spacer made, so that's all sweet, that's in the process. The next thing after that is then clearing all my shit in the shed, and then getting the car in here and looking at stripping, pulling my motor out again. Then loom out, tidy that up as well, and tidy a few little other things engine wise, like intake a little bit better, cooling system set up, and that's really about it. But I'll edit this together, throw it together, and give you guys something to see. I'll try and do a video maybe once a week or maybe once every 2 weeks, but I just got to see how I go. Depends what I've got on, depends what I'm doing, and it depends what I've got to do on that. So we'll see. But yeah, I'll try and get a video out to you this week, but I'll see how I go. Catches.